Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. That is unbelievable.
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Donald Trump and Pam Bondi literally scolded people for asking questions about Jeffrey Epstein. And if you know me, if you have been following me for some time, you must already know that there are few things I hate more than being told you cannot ask questions about this topic. Well, turns out we still have many questions about this topic, and I already tried to answer some of them with my analysis of the very suspicious Epstein blog cell footage. But the fact that Donald Trump is triggered by just a question about an investigation that he knows was and is a very important topic during his campaign, the fact that Pam Bondi had that shit-eating grin when Trump began scolding the press, and the fact that during this press conference she said one word that takes responsibility away from Jeffrey Epstein, well, this is beyond concerning. I feel like we are just 2 weeks away from being told that, you know what? Jeffrey Epstein didn't even exist. But let's take a look at their body language and words to realize that every single effort to sweep this under the rug is going to have the opposite effect. Pretty much this trace and effect. Hello and welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my body language analysis and tips. Let's get down to it. So we need to get started, and well, this was quite a shock when I saw that on my X account, thanks to GatorGar, and it started like this. It started with a bang.
On the night of the step.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
So the first impulse was saying, what is the problem to ask a question about Jeffrey Epstein if it's so hot right now that they finally released the clean up video of Epstein's cell block. But there's one thing that I noticed just before Trump reacted. But because when Trump asked the question, can I just answer this? Because they asked the question for Pam Bondi, and Trump, oh, I want to answer for you, right? Trump wanted to intervene. But notice what happens. Let's see if you can spot that here in it.
On the night of the step.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Notice that he says, can I just, I'm going to put this in slow motion. Can I just interrupt for a second? And she says, sure, like, it's not immediate. It's like even before he stopped talking. Like usually, I talk about time of reaction or reaction times when something happens and the person or somebody reacts. Somebody asks a question and somebody answers. There's always that time of reaction. We need some time, like a split second, a fraction of a second to react. The fact that she answered even before he finish his question. Can I interrupt for a second? This tells me that they had already, arranged this before getting seated. If they ask you about the Epstein files, I'm going to interrupt you, right? I'm going to tell you this and you just say sure. And that's what she did, but she rushed it. I'm going to play it again so you notice. Nobody can react and answer to something even before the other person stops talking.
On the night of the step.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second?
And she does a bit of flaking of her hair. I'm going to give it a pass. It's just a pacifying gesture. Might not mean nothing. Trump began putting his palms forward like this. Like, okay, he usually does that gesture. I think that he was trying to say, like, can you just stop? And he asks the question. I can't believe that you are asking that question.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? He looks away. That's something that Trump does sometimes. I think it's no big deal. But the next thing comes from Pam Bondi.
This guy's been talked about for years.
This guy has been talked about for years, and she smiles. Why is she smiling? Why is she smiling? I don't understand. That was really creepy and odd and disgusting. This is a topic. This is a really disgusting topic in general. This is concerning everything that has been happening around Jeffrey Epstein and all the people involved. I don't think that's something that is worth, smiling for. No, I don't think that's how we humans work. Humans with empathy.
You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Okay, a couple of things. I'm pretty sure the United States government, the Trump administration can juggle and handle many things at once. Okay, like what happened in Texas is terrible. It's horrible. I hope that there's relief for that, but I think that questions can be asked. There's a moment to ask questions. So why not? Why would you say you cannot ask that question? That is really odd. And the other thing that is odd is that he emphasizes that is this guy, this creep. No, Mr. President, it's not only one creep. It's not only one guy. Everybody knows it's more than one guy. There are many creeps involved in this. And if you pretend to deny it, you are really insulting everyone's intelligence. I mean, both Republicans, MAGA, Democrats, liberals, you're insulting everyone's intelligence with that. Well, let's continue.
Yeah, this creep, that is unbelievable.
Notice the pauses that he uses. That is unbelievable. He uses gravitas to add weight to his words, like, I can't believe you're asking this question again. Well, believe it, because we are going to keep asking these questions.
Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
This is a waste of time. This topic is a waste of time, but go ahead, answer the question. He tells Pam Bondi.
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this.
There was another hair flick from her. I'm going to say that it was no big deal, another pacifying gesture. Rubio was in the middle of the, let's say, the reactions. He made sure to not do anything out of the ordinary. We continue.
On Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what.
Again, this is a way of diluting or trying to divert or trying to deflect the question. You shouldn't be asking that because we have tragedies and successes. We should be talking about the tragedies and successes and precisely about Epstein. We should not be talking about Epstein. You should not ask questions about Epstein. Yeah, that absolutely sounds like an authoritarian regime. You cannot ask these questions. That absolutely sounds like somebody who is uncomfortable.
Happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Okay, asking a question about Jeffrey Epstein is like desecrating what happened in Texas. How can you make a connection, such a connection? I want to understand. There can be two tragedies simultaneously, and by talking about, not because the Jeffrey Epstein scandal has been dragging on for years, it doesn't mean that it's not important to solve that. So, well.
Sure. First,
I noticed that after Trump stopped talking, he just put his hands below the table. I really haven't paid attention the way that Trump reacts in these scenarios. I just thought that I can understand that for Rubio, but hiding your hands under the table is a bit defensive. I don't usually assign the defensive body language with Donald Trump, but I have no way of saying if he does that in this kind of a scenario, so I will, for now, give him a pass. So Pam Bondi begins talking, and this is where the real deal begins.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list.
Oh, and by the way, I'm pretty sure that you noticed that when she said the words about the client list, she did the air quotes, a very dismissive way of talking about the client list.
And my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with
the file that she later clarified that no, she really didn't have the file, and no, she didn't have all the information, and no, she didn't have all the evidence, so it was not true after all.
The JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
Okay, next time when somebody asks you a specific question, make sure to address the specific question in a specific way. And it's strange you being an attorney not knowing that. I am not an attorney and I know how important is that, but let's move on.
Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein.
That word, I put that on yellow for a reason. Did you notice? You notice what she said? That is one word.
The child downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein.
Downloaded. She said the word downloaded. What does it mean? And why is so important the word downloaded? It means that now they're claiming that Epstein acted alone, that all the victims, the more than 200 or 250 victims, I don't know the exact number. I think nobody knows for certain the exact number of victims. All of them, every single one of them were for Jeffrey Epstein. But wait a second, the thousands of videos were not of Jeffrey Epstein with all the victims. No, he downloaded those videos from the internet. So it's all this abuse, all these horrific videos that were found were made by other people than Epstein. He just downloaded them to his hard drive. Are you understanding how Pam Bondi is reframing, is trying to change the narrative in real time to our faces, right next to Donald Trump? Give me a break. And just for the record, we have the exact words that she said back in the day.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
We have tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children. I'm going to play that again.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or
of Epstein with children. That is first grade English. Epstein with children. And what does she claim now? That those were...
They turned out to be child downloaded by...
Downloaded.
By that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein.
She doesn't even say that it's the victims with a Jeffrey Epstein. No, those were downloaded. This is infuriating. The question has to be asked as many times as it's needed, because this is gross. No other word defines this. No other word can describe what is happening with this.
And there are hundreds of victims, and no one victim will ever get released.
Before we continue, remember to download my free 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. Nobody's saying that we don't need to know the identities of the victims, but you're saying that they were victims. And now you're saying that no, those videos were just downloaded from the internet, that the videos are, the victims are elsewhere, that we're not the ones brought to the island. How does that work?
Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. You know, being an agent, an international agent, using this mission to gather all these videos to be able to blackmail politicians, celebrities, powerful people everywhere. I have no knowledge of that. Maybe she hasn't found out. Maybe that is only a conspiracy theory, right? Maybe that is a conspiracy. Maybe Epstein did kill himself. But don't tell me that the guy acted alone. And now don't tell me that it was just, stuff downloaded from the internet, because that is insulting.
See the light of day. To him being an agent.
She does the gesture as in, I have no idea. I have nothing to do with that. I don't know what you are talking about. And, well, Trump is very attentively looking at Pam Bondi to see if she does the way he is expecting her to behave.
I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video.
Remember that in my analysis of the very strange Epstein cell block video, there was 1 minute, more than 1 minute, in fact, it was 1 minute and 2 seconds missing from the video. That was important.
We released the video.
She turns to Trump as into look for approval, or trying to look for some confirmation or like support. I think support is the best word here. She turns to Trump to look for support. Okay, how am I doing?
Release the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive.
She first say definitively and lets the sentence hang. Lets the sentence hanging. She doesn't complete the sentence because she knows that she cannot say this definitive proof of what?
Definitively, the video was.
Now she says that the video was not conclusive. She interrupts herself and says the video was not conclusive, but wait for it.
Not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed.
She has the gall to say that a video that didn't even show Epstein's cell proves in some, I don't know, fairy dust way that Epstein did kill himself. She just said that. I'm going to rewind so the evidence prior to it.
But the evidence prior to it was showing he
was conclusive. She means, in the English that I think that we can say that we speak. Okay, the video was not conclusive, but at the same time, the evidence prior to it was showing, maybe the video, but she was saying that she means the evidence prior to the video, all the other evidence. What is all the other evidence? The coroner's report, I don't know, the autopsy. Why does she speak in such an unclear and vague way? That is how manipulators and gaslighters speak. I don't understand. I have no idea.
Showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing.
So since the hardware is old from 1999, then every night the video is reset, and every night it has the same minute missing. How convenient that you every night have one window of 1 minute to, well, pretty much do whatever you want.
So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
And now she says that we're looking for that video. She says that she's looking for one video. She says that video is one video, right? Because if you tell me, okay, we're going to release many fractions of many videos from one day to another, like 7 videos or videos over 1 week. So you see that there's always the missing minute, something that anybody could do with a video editing app, which they use for the unedited Epstein cell block video. You understand? Anybody could edit that minute out of 7 days of recordings and say, there you have it. That's how the machine works. We can't do anything about that. How can you trust these people is my question. There's no way you can trust these
We're
people.
looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
So one video, for some reason, is gonna show that minute's missing for every night. Notice that her English doesn't work at all, like at all. Like this is crazy. This is crazy.
And that's it on Epstein.
And she does the slashing with the hand. That's it on Epstein. You saw that, right? And then she ends up with a smile. That's it on Epstein. I mean, I want to trust the Trump administration. I want to trust the Department of Justice. I want to trust the FBI. But they are making this so hard. Now, today I just realized something. That neither Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, or Dan Bongino have ever said the words client or client list in regards to the Epstein case. The closest instance has been Bondi saying, "It's sitting on my desk," when asked about Epstein's client list, but the words client list did not come out of her mouth. Not even once. Ever. So I understand that this is not how language works, that we humans speak with nuances and indirect references, but it is what it is. When you think about it, by saying Epstein files, you have an umbrella, general term that can be anything you want it to be. Very convenient. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Make sure to watch my complete analysis of this strange Epstein cell block video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Viral Language Guy. Much love and bliss.